Listen to me. You've been sleeping on yourself for too long. You've been giving away your power to fear, to doubt, to laziness. You've been standing in your own way. But today, that is, you have more power than you give yourself credit for. Every day you wake up, you make choices consciously or not that shape your direction. Whether you rise or fall, it starts with you. That's the truth most people don't want to hear. But it's easier to say, I can't because of them, or I failed because of this. It's easier to blame your environment, your past, your parents, your circumstances. But let me make this clear. As long as you keep pointing fingers outward, you'll never take control of what's going on inside. And until you take ownership of what's going on inside, you're never going to ride. You want a better life. You want success, peace, happiness, purpose. Then you have to stop waiting for someone else to hand it to you. No one is coming to save you. That's harsh, but it's real. Nobody's going to walk into your room, knock on your door and say, hey, I heard you've been through some stuff, so here's a better future. That's not how it works. You want it, you gotta claim it. You gotta own it. And you've got to stop acting like your power lies anywhere outside of your own hands when you keep telling yourself that the reason you can't move forward is because of someone else. You give your power away. When you say, I will be further, but they didn't support me, or I would have made it, but life is just unfair, you're basically putting the keys to your future in someone else's hands. Why would you do that? Why would you let someone who doesn't even live your life control how high you go? Why would you let the people who doubted you be the ones who decide what you can or can't do? You're the one who wakes up in your body. You're the one who sees your reflection. So you need to be the one who takes full control. See, responsibility isn't just about accepting blame. It's about accepting power. It's about saying, yes, maybe I've been knocked down. Yes, maybe life hasn't been fair, but I still have a say. I still have a choice. That's where real freedom begins. Not when life gets easier, but when you decide that no matter how hard it gets, you're gonna show up anyway. You're gonna push forward, even if it's messy, even if it's slow, even if nobody claps for you. Because the moment you own your power, you stop waiting and start building and start building. You stop asking for permission and start creating opportunities. You stop doubting and start doing. That's when everything shifts. You start walking different, talking different. Not because your situation has changed, but because you have. Most people never reach their potential, not because they didn't have the talent or the time, but because they never took full ownership. They kept handing the wheel over to fear, to failure, to other people's opinion. They kept giving excuses more room than effort. But you don't have to be like them. You can flip the script. You can decide right now that from this moment forward, you're the one driving that people will tell you you're crazy. They'll say you're unrealistic. Let them talk. Let them doubt. Because what matters is not what they say, it's what you believe. And if you believe that your past defines your future, you're already defeated. But if you believe that your choices define your future, you've already won half the battle. This isn't about pretending things are easy. It's about realizing that you're capable even when it's hard. It's about rising above the noise, the chaos, the self-doubt, and saying, I don't need perfect conditions. I just need the courage to start. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to decide that you're not going to sit back while life passes you by. Because the truth is, everything you need is already inside you. The strength, the fire, the vision, just discipline, intention, and self-belief. That's where champions are made. Not in the moment they're celebrated, but in the years when no one was watching, when no one was listening, when it was just grit and grind. If you need constant reassurance to keep going, you're going to burn out. Because not everyone is going to support you. Not everyone is going to understand. And guess what? They don't need to stop giving people power over your progress. Stop letting their silence become your ceiling. Some people won't clap for you because your success reminds them of what they're not doing. Some won't support you because they're threatened by your ambition. That's not your problem. Your job isn't to convince them. Your job is to become who you said you would be. Become the version of you that doesn't wait to be chosen. You already chosen. You already called. You don't need their approval to activate your assignment. You've got to be willing to walk alone sometimes, to be misunderstood, to be doubted. because that's the path of anyone who's ever done something great. There will be moments when you're the only one who believes in your vision, moments when you feel crazy for trying. But that's where power is forged, in the loneliness of conviction. You have to stop second guessing yourself every time someone doesn't clap. Their silence doesn't mean you're off track. It just means they're not tuned into your frequency. And that's okay. People will start believing once they see results. Once the book is published, once the business takes off, once the transformation is undeniable. But you have to believe before the results, before the evidence, before the breakthrough. That's where faith comes in. Faith isn't just a spiritual concept, it's a mental discipline. It's looking at your empty hands and still believing they can build something great. It's standing in front of a closed door and still believing you'll find a way through. You can't build something meaningful if you're constantly adjusting based on other people's opinions. If you're always looking over your shoulder, asking, is this good enough? You'll never reach your full potential. You'll water down your vision, trying to make it palatable for people who were never meant to eat from your table. You have to trust your gut, trust your grind, and trust that what's in you is real, and that is worth the fight, even if nobody else sees it. Yeah, doc. You don't need to go viral. You need to go deep, deep into your craft, deep into your vision, deep into your consistency. That's where the magic happens. Not in chasing trends or popularity, but in mastering your purpose. The people who succeed long-term are the ones who stop chasing applause and start chasing alignment. They don't care if it's popular. They care if it's true. They don't care if it's trendy. They care if it's authentic. That's the kind of energy that lasts. When you stop waiting for validation, you stop shrinking. You stop hesitating. You stop settling for safe. You start taking risks. You start stepping into rooms like you belong there. You start showing up like someone who already knows what they bring to the table. And that's the moment everything shifts, because the world responds to bold energy. The world responds to someone who already knows who they are. You don't need them to clap. You just need to keep going. The process will test you before it rewards you. That's something you need to understand deep in your bones. Everyone wants the reward. Everyone wants the success, the recognition, the lifestyle, but not everyone is built to handle the process that comes before it. The process is the part most people never talk about. It's the silent grind, the lonely nights, the sacrifices no one sees. It's waking up early when no one else has to. It's staying focused when everything around you is trying to pull you off course. They know the pressure produces power. They know the process is not punishment, it's preparation. Preparation for the moment the door opens. Preparation for the opportunity that will come. Preparation for the version of themselves they've been fighting to become. There comes a point when you have to stop talking about it and start being about it. Too many people spend their lives planning, preparing, dreaming, and discussing what they're going to do, but they never get around to actually doing it. They live in this loop of intention without execution. They make vision boards, write goals, set reminders, tell their friend, but nothing real happens because they never take the step that separates dreamers from doers. Action. At some point, your life has to move beyond conversation and into demonstration. The world doesn't respond to what you say you're going to do. It responds to what you consistently do. The reason most people never break out of mediocrity is not because they don't have talent or ambition. It's because they never translate their potential into movement. They wait for perfect timing. They wait for clarity. They wait until they feel confident. But action doesn't wait. Action creates clarity. Action builds confidence. Action turns fear into fuel. You don't need more time. You need more time. You need more motivation. You don't need more movement. Because the truth is, the more you sit and think about it, the more you delay it. And delay is a silent form of denial that some people are turning because it gives them the illusion of progress without the risk of failure. They spend hours creating strategies, reading books, watching videos, and soaking up advice, but they never step into the arena. They convince themselves they're getting ready, but deep down, it's fear, dressed up as preparation. There is a place for learning, a place for vision, but there must be a point when you shift gears. When you stop researching and start reaching. When you stop imagining and start building. When you stop talking and start walking out, execution is everything. It doesn't matter how great your ideas are, will never come to life. It doesn't matter how many times you say you're going to change if your actions don't reflect it. Nobody's impressed by what you almost did. No one's inspired by what you plan to start. The respect comes when you follow through. The impact comes when your work speaks louder than your words. Every dream in your head has a cost attached to it, and that cost is consistent, focused, uncomfortable action. You don't rise by being busy, you rise by being bold. By taking that first messy step, by risking imperfection, by failing forward again and again until the breakthrough happens. Success doesn't belong to the ones with the perfect plan. It belongs to the ones with relentless follow through. The ones who keep showing up even when it's slow, even when it's scary, even when nobody claps. The ones who don't wait for permission, who don't ask, oh, what if it goes wrong? But ask instead, what if I never try? It's easy to stay where it's safe, easy to settle into a routine and convince yourself that you're doing enough. But deep down, you know whether or not you're really going all in. You know whether you're executing or just existing. And there's nothing more frustrating than knowing you have more to give, but continuing to hold back. You gotta flip the switch. You've gotta activate that version of you that refuses to coast. That version of you that's done waiting, done talking, done dreaming without doing that. Progress only happens when you take full ownership of your results. No more blaming circumstances. No more pointing fingers. No more waiting on someone to come save you. You are the one. You are the plan. You are the answer to your next level. But nothing shifts until you shift your action. You can have all the passion in the world, but passion without execution is just wasted energy. You can have all the goals in the world, but goals without follow through are just wishful thinking. It's time to move, time to execute, time to prove that you mean what you said. You're not too late. You're not underqualified. You're not behind. You're not behind. What you are is distracted. What you are is hesitant. What you are is hesitant. What you are is stuck in your head when you should be in motion. Stop second guessing and start stepping. Stop rewriting your plan and start living it. If you're waiting for a feeling to drive you into action, you'll be stuck forever. The feeling comes after the movement. The confidence comes after the first step. The results come after the consistency. That greatness isn't achieved by doing something once. It's achieved by doing it daily. By making execution your identity. By deciding that you're not just someone with potential, you're someone who delivers. Who executes when it's hard? Who pushes when it's inconvenient? Who rises even when no one's watching? That's the mindset that changes everything. That's the difference between the person who dreams, and the person who dominates. The person who watches from the sidelines and the one who puts their mark on the field. The only way to become that person is through action. Relentless, courageous, disciplined action. So now the choice is yours. No more waiting, no more wishing, no more excuses. You've heard enough, planned enough, hoped enough. It's time to move. This is your moment to rise. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when it feels right. Now, rise with discipline, rise with courage. Rise even when you're scared. Because the life you want, the future you see, the greatness inside you, it's all on the other side of action. So get up, lock in, go all in, and don't stop until your reality reflects the fire that's been burning inside you all along.